Hello from the Y. My name is Jillian, and today we're going to be going over the yoga pose known as Virabhadrasana 2, also called Warrior 2. So you need a mat for doing this pose, but no other props are necessary. So I'm going to have you turn to face the long side of your mat. We're going to kind of come into this pose two different ways. We're going to come into it by facing the long side, we're going to come into it by facing the short side. So we're going to start off this way though. I'm going to have you spread your feet nice and wide. Now both of our toes are going to face toward the side of the mat. Okay, so we have about 3 feet in between our feet. About 3 feet. Nice big wide stance. I'm going to take my left leg and I'm going to turn the toes out toward the short side of the mat. Okay. My back foot is still going to face the long side of the mat. All right, from here I'm going to start to bend the left knee and bring that left knee over the left ankle. Okay. Pressing down into that back foot. I'm going to try and press down into the outside edge of the back foot. Our hands are going to come out to the side in a T, palms facing down. Lower the shoulders down, elongate your neck, and keep that spine nice and tall. From here, you're going to start to turn your head so you look out over your left hand, over the left middle finger. You're going to keep those arms nice and wide. Stretch the fingertips away from one another. Pull the navel in toward the spine. Keep your spine nice and tall. Lower those shoulders down. One thing that we need to worry about in Warrior 2 is trying not to pull the knee in forward. Okay, so you want to try and keep that knee right over the ankle, so try not to bring it too far forward or toward the inside of that thigh. Okay, so try and roll that left knee out. Okay. Another thing that people tend to kind of that becomes a challenge for people in Virabhadrasana 2 is keeping their spine stacked up nice and tall. So you want to keep that spine, every single vertebrae stacked up on top of each other. So we're not pulling forward in Virabhadrasana 2. We want to keep that spine nice and tall in our pose. So pressing down into your feet. Okay. Now, if at any time you feel like this stance is way too big and you can't hold it, you can always bring that back foot in a little bit. Okay, you don't have to have a super, super huge stance in Virabhadrasana 2. So I'm going to lower my hands down and set my feet together, and I'm going to show you the other way that you might be coming into this pose. So I'm going to step up to the front of my mat. So from here, I'm going to take my weight over into my left foot. I'm going to curl my right heel up toward my right glute, and then step that back foot back toward the back of the mat. So right foot steps back. From here, you're naturally going to be in a lunge. So we've got both toes are pointed closer toward the short side of the mat. So you're going to have to adjust this back foot. All right, so I want to make sure that my left knee is over my left ankle. So we don't want to be going too far forward. Keep a nice right angle in that ankle. And then this back foot, we're going to turn out a bit. So you can turn it out as much or as little as you want. We want to either be at 45 degrees, kind of toward the diagonal, or we want to have the back foot perpendicular to the front foot. Either one is okay. We're really opening up the hips here. So instead of keeping them forward toward that left foot, we're bringing the hips nice and wide, nice and open. From here, then you take your arms out to the side, lower the shoulders down, nice tall spine, looking out over that left middle finger, stretching those fingertips away from one another, not leaning too far forward. Good. I'm going to lower my hands down and step my feet together, coming back. So we're going to do the other side just to get a little bit of symmetry. So I'm going to take my right foot out, left foot back. Toes on the right foot are going to be pointing toward the short side of the mat. Toes on the left foot are going to be pointing toward either the long side of the mat or kind of at a 45-degree angle. Either one is okay. Right knee bends, right knee right over that right ankle, rolling that right thigh outward, pressing down in to the outside edge of the left foot, opening up those hips nice and wide, arms come out to the side. We're not leaning too far forward, so we want to make sure our spine is stacked up on top of itself, shoulders down, neck long, fingertips stretching out from one another, and then looking out over that right middle finger. Again, if this pose, if you feel like your stance is too wide, you can always step that back foot in just a little bit. Okay, so you can have a pose that has a nice short stance, kind of a medium stance, or even a nice big stance. It's going to depend on your flexibility. It's going to depend on your strength, your endurance. All of those things will factor into how wide you want to have your stance in our Virabhadrasana 2 or Warrior 2. We're going to take 2 more breaths here. And one last breath. Good. I'm going to straighten that right knee and then step my feet together. So that was Warrior 2. Thank you for joining me and learning this pose today. Hope you have a wonderful day. The divine light in me sees and honors the divine light in each and every one of you. Namaste.